Hey guys, Coach Dissinger here, and I'm going to talk about a application that I'm a big fan of. It's an app that I feel like most, if not all, elementary PE teachers should invest in. It's a very low cost app, but it really saves time, and we know how valuable our time is in PE because sometimes our classes are super short. So one thing that takes up a lot of time is breaking kids into pairs or groups. So I found this app called TeamShake, and it's extremely beneficial to me. It quickly and easily divides my students into teams, groups, or pairings, and I really want to sell you on it because I've really benefited from it throughout the years. Number one, it helps me just remember all my students' names. For me, I like to see the name, and it helps jog my memory. When you're teaching 400 kids, it's tough to memorize all the names. So number one, that helps with name recognition. Number two, I don't know about you, but it really bothers me when I was an old, teaching years ago, and I didn't have this app, and you would break kids into, let's say, teams of 4 or teams of 2, and you line them up and you count them off. One of the things that I just dreaded watching was kids move around in that group because they wanted to get on a friend's team or whatever. And that bothered me because you're that individual that's sliding around in that line to pair up with someone. You're telling your other classmates that you don't want to be with them. And so that really kind of sets a negative tone for the game. So this application negates that because as a teacher, I can just say, well, the app, created the groups. One of the things also I like about the TeamShake app before I go into showing how to use it, if I have a sub in our district, you can send electronical information to the subsystem. And so what I can do is if we're playing a game of hockey, per se, and I want to break kids into teams, that's a tough task for a teacher or a substitute teacher. So what I can do is do my TeamShake app, capture some screenshots, and then upload it to my subnotes. So that's another reason I like the TeamShake app. Okay, let's dive into this. So this is a video of me screencasting my iPad and how I use the TeamShake app. So first thing you're going to do after you download it is click on the app, and I'm going to pause it right here. So this is a summertime. I don't have my rosters, but traditionally I have a long list of all the classes in here. I usually break them off K and then the teacher's name, first grade teacher's name, and so forth. So it's easy for me to click on the names, and I've already plugged in all the names at the beginning of the school year. There are great tutorials online also how to upload your rosters quickly using your whatever Skyward. We use Skyward, how you can move that into Excel and then export it into the system. But right now I'm just created 2 classes here. So I'm going to click on one class, the 2nd grade Dissinger class, and this is my little family. And right away you can see that I have marked the boys and the girls in the class. But there's more that you can do to that, more than just boys and girls. You can rate kids by strengths. And when you do that, maybe a kid is really good at soccer, per se. That will, if you have 2 great soccer players and they're rated highly, they'll probably not be on the same team. So trying to create that competitive balance. So first thing I'm going to do is show you how to add a user. You get a new student that comes into your class 2 weeks in like we got. I added Crosby to the class, just typed in his name. And now he's in the system. I can click on his name and now identify who he is, a male or a female. Again, that kind of helps balance out guys and girls during when you break up into teams. Here's an example of adjusting someone by their strength. So again, this is my name right here, and let's say we're playing soccer, and the PE teacher kind of wants, again, another fair, balanced lineup. You can go with the strengths and say, man, he's really good. Maybe he's on a club team. Let's give him a strong rating right there. And when you go back to the main page, you can see that Colby now has an up arrow there identifying he has a strength. Some issues that I've had in class, and you probably have had in class too, I'll pause it right here, is kids that really do not work well, or maybe it's in a behavioral plan that this kid and that kid cannot be on the same team. So what this app can do is it can force kids to never be on the same team. It can also force, if you can see over here, them to be on the same team, but I'm going to mark, I have 2 dogs, and I'm going to mark, let's say my dogs don't work well together. I'm going to mark them opposing 1 each. And when you do that, the application, I clicked on Kirkwood, he's opposing 1, you can see it identifies it there. Clicked on Macy, opposing 1 right there, and you can see that now she has a 1 by her name. Now anytime I create pairings or teams, groups, they will never be paired together. So that's another great feature of this application. All right, a couple more things before I wrap up here is if a kid is absent, you can just click on them and they will go gray. Throughout the years, kids are absent obviously, so you just click on the gray and that absolutely eliminates them from when you break them into pairs. I also like that feature a lot. So everyone's here today, so we're going to uncheck everyone. Oh, let's go ahead and mark Crosby as absent and we break them into teams, and now you can see that Crosby is not on this list at all. One thing you could also see is Colby's by himself. Remember, we marked him as a strong soccer player. And you notice that Kirkwood and Macy are not on a team together. So just going over how those little notifications that I put in, or little notes that I put in, how they actually did work. Okay. So right here at the bottom is teams. So if, let's say I wanted 5 teams, 2 teams, traditionally we're playing a soccer game, let's do 2 teams. I'll pause it right here. I go right over to 2 teams, so this will break it into an even group. Shake the app, and literally you can either press the app shake button or you can shake your iPad. Sometimes I give it to a kid and they like to shake it. And there's the list of kids, and kids like to see their names posted. So we have all the kids on the blue team. I could just call, okay, blue team, blue jerseys, Brooks, Colby, Macy, Owen. Again, you can see that Macy and Kirkwood are not on the same team because we made that note. Crosby, Kirkwood, Megan City, you guys are all on the same team right there. Also by gender, you can see that there was 3 boys here and 1 girl, and 2 girls and 2 boys right here. So it kind of separated the genders too. And another thing I like to do is I do a lot of pairings. So if you come down here and you click on this arrow right here, you can see now it says instead of teams, people. So if this is, if you're wanting kids in groups of 2, if you're doing groups of 3, groups of 4, etc., then you can do that. So you can see how many people you can do, and I want pairs. So I'm gonna click on that, and now we got pairings right there. So this is just an excellent application in my opinion. It just does so many fun things. And oh, last thing I wanted to show you actually is if you're doing like a tag game, and the kids are always like, I want to be the tagger and so forth. This little button down here is an individual random player button. So I click on that, you got 1 tagger, Brooks gets to be the tagger. Okay, they play tag for about 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes. It's time to switch taggers. You click on that button again. We have a new tagger, and it quickly, every time you click on it, it moves to the next tagger. So anyways, that is the TeamShake application. I hope you learned a little bit of how to use it. It's really simplistic and fun, and I think that this would kind of enhance your teaching experience. Take care.